Okay.
Okay. So on the flow, we guys like you understood, right? Like the difference between each component. So under the order of execution, did we discuss or no? Order of execution. Okay.
Maybe if you can be.
I will give you like eye level. So yeah,
Okay,
I
sure.
will give you eye level and we'll go for it one by one. Fine. So this is the small comparison chart, basically between like we have a different automation tools, workflow, approval process, process builder, and visual workflow. We call it as a visual workflow or flow. Yeah. Now, at what time we go for a which flow? Like what time we will choose for which automations? So complexity wise, workflow is just a single if else, very easy. Even approval process, again single if else. And a process builder, multiple if else. We can have a multiple if else, right, in the process builder. And the best practices in the process builder is per object you can have maximum one or two process builder per object, not more than that. But if you start creating the workflow, you may need to create like a multiple workflows on a single object, and we don't know which one is fire first, which one is fire second. Like, yeah, that will make it confusion. But in process builder, we have like a clear idea, like which one will fire, which one will not fire. And debugging facility also, like it's not available in process builder, but flow, yes, we do our debugging facility now. So complexity wise, workflow is very simple, and little bit complex is approval process, then bit complex is process builder, then I complex is flow. Then visual designer, yes, we do have a visual designer for process builder, and we do have visual designer for flow, and there is no visual designer for workflow and approval process. Is that correct? So there is no design,
Yeah.
right, for workflows.
Yeah.
Then browser support, all. Chrome is recommended. Here browser support is all. Safari is not recommended. Don't use Safari for flows especially. This one, all browsers, like there is no recommendation, nothing, but yeah. Then when the actions will start, if there is any record changes, it will start. I'm going to update this. Users click on the button, or users click on the button or link. Okay. Then user access from the custom tab. So through a custom tab also we can access the flow like this, right? So on click on the tab, like the flow is accessible. We can put like the entire flow tab here. The entire screen will be a flow. We can do that as well, like using the tab. Okay. So then process starts. Using the process builder, we can call the flow. Then Apex is called. From the Apex, we can call the flow. Then record, before changes, before save, after save. I'll put it one line, before or after save. Yeah, is it clear? So the flow will be invoked based on all these actions. Workflow, only record changes based on the criteria, only like the record changes, it will fire. Same with the process builder, Apex called, user click on the button or link, process or flow. You can call one process to another process. Same way you can call the process builder from flow or Apex called, and also record changes. Yeah, approval process I meant to say. So here only this.
So in case of rejection, we can call another flow, right?
Yeah. No, I meant to say in case of rejections, we cannot call another flow. From the process, you can call the approval process.
Okay.
From the process builder or flow, you can submit the approval process automatically.
Okay.
That is the meaning of this. So process or flow starts that include submit for an approval actions. So there will be actions available, submit for approval actions available on process builder and flows.
Mhm.
So based on process builder, you can use the submit for approval actions to call the approval process.
Okay.
Okay. And this process builder, based on the record changes, it will fire. So whenever, like, if there is a changes, yeah, it will fire. Okay, then support time-based actions. Here yes, here yes, here yes, but approval process, there is no time-based dependent. There is no time-based actions. Then support for user interactions. So that this is not, there is no user interaction, right? So process builder will fire in the backend and it will do automatically. And the visual workflow, there will be some user interactions required. You remember we build like a support form, the feedback form.
Object.
Yeah.
Feedback object.
Yeah.
Feedback form. Sorry.
Exactly. So there will be a user interaction required basically. So it's not mandatory, but again, there is a possibility like you can, yeah, support for user interactions. This will support. But there is, here there is no support, there is no user interaction. Here also there is no user interactions. Here I would say yes, because you may need to approve it. But again, you can approval also, you can do automations. I would say, yeah, let it be like because we can, without user interactions, we can do it. But here I will put a yes, I think, because person need to approve, right?
Yes.
So there will be user interactions. But to start the flow or to execute the approval process, there is no user interactions. But again, manually user can go and submit it. That's it. Then what are the actions possible on the each automations? Call Apex code. You can call the Apex code from process builder. You can call the Apex code from the flow. But workflow and approval process, we cannot execute the code. So from the process builder or from the flow, you can call the Apex class. So for that, we need to write the Apex class as @RI enabled. Yeah. So you have to put like @RI enabled. There is another one more parameter. I forgot what is that, like at what is the at notations? Not feature annotation, just annotations. Basically at features, @RI enabled, @invocable. That's right. So @invocable is the method. Let me check. Yeah. See here, these are all the different annotations in Salesforce. So if the class is declared as @invocable method, you'll see here in a class, why like it's coming like a little bit blur. Yeah. So @invocable method or invocable variable. Now if I click on that, see, if you declared a class public class name and @invocable method get account name. So if you declared a class like this, then this class will be called on the process builder. Let me show you quickly what they are doing. Basically what they are doing, like account query actions, and they are querying the account record where ID is equal to this ID, and they are updating the account name. Account name is equal add and return the account name. Basically it will give you the account name. So if you call this Apex class, it will give you the account name based on your ID. Yeah. So you are passing the ID, account ID, and this will return the account name of that particular ID. So now this class can be called in your process builder. Then similar way, if you want to insert an account, so you need to pass the ID, like no need to pass an ID. Simply you need to pass the descriptions. So if you pass the descriptions, it will store under the category like account, and it will save the account records. Let me create a one small Apex class and I will show you. Okay, this is Apex class now. Now, if you go for a process builder, or even in flow, I will use the existing process builder, any process builder. Okay, I'm using the existing process builder, and I will clone this. Now, if I try to add one more actions, Apex, call the Apex class. Here, simply you need to pass the parameter. You will get ID. So if you pass the ID, as soon as if you pass the ID, this will return the account name. And from the flow, especially like a process builder, maybe I'm not sure, like you can get the responses and you can do some sending an email. During the email, you can get the result and store it into one variable, and then you can respond it like, yeah, you can add that variable into an email template or something. But in flow, you can do a lot of things like this. So generally, like you can call the Apex class, and then from the Apex class, once if you get the result back, and then based on the result, you can do some additional actions using the flow. So maybe some of the bit like we cannot achieve using the flow, the standard configuration wise, we cannot achieve it. Then for that scenario, we can go for Apex class and write all the custom logic in the Apex class, and we can call the Apex class from the flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those kind of things can be done on process builder and flow, but not in the workflow and approvals. Create a record. It's possible to create, yes, any record you can create a process builder workflows, but here, no, we can do only task only object, and here also task. Only task object we can create a record, not any other object we cannot. Deletion, process builder is not possible. Flow, yes, we can delete the record. Here, no, here, no. And then launch a flow. Yes, here we can launch a flow using another flow, but these two, no. Post a chatter, here, yes, here, no. Send an email, yes, all. Send outbound message, no, no, here, yes, here, yes. So if you want to send an outbound message, you ought to go for a workflow or approval process. Submit for approval, yes, this is possible. This is also possible. Here, no. And update field, any field you can update, and any record you can update. Here only the parent record if you have a master detail relationship. That is the one limitation on the workflow or approval process on the field update. So if you want to update the parent field, you need to have a master detail relationship. If it's a lookup relationship, you cannot. Yeah. Then Quip. Quip is the another product. So can I call the Quip? Yes. Here, yes. These two, no. And survey, yes, yes, but these two, no. So maximum you can go for a process builder or flow, but these days I would recommend go for a flow maximum. So
Sampath, what is Quip?
Quip is the another project management tool in Salesforce. I would say a collaboration tool.
Okay.
During the demo session, I think I explained to you, but again, so let's show you that. So let's say basically it's a product, Quip product. Again, these days it's available for freely. You can sign up for it. Where is that Quip tool? Productive tools. Keep on, they're changing the
page.
Yeah. I will go for just a Quip. Here itself we can see any other logo. No. Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Analytics, Integration Platforms, Work.com, Employee Partners, no, Salesforce, Success, maybe, no. I don't know where they put it. I will search for it better. I don't want to purchase. Oh, okay, this is coming in this room. Yeah, basically it's a collaboration tool. So, quick website. This is the one.
Mhm.
So, now they made it a cost because of the COVID. They made it like a completely free.
Mhm.
Like the basic plan, they make it like a completely free. Now they made it as like a $10 per user per month, quick plus.
Mhm.
But again, this will help you to collaborate your document. Basically, like you can create a document, and we can within the document you can collaborate. Like every team member can go and update it, and you can integrate with the Salesforce, get the information from Salesforce immediately, like a record details or reports, or like it seamlessly it will connect into the Salesforce. And even you can generate the PDF and send the signature to our customers, get the signatures from them. There are a lot of things available. Basically, it's a collaboration tool.
So something like Slack, which is going to come up, right?
Yeah, I would say beyond the Slack, in Slack, like you can do messages. That's it, right? You can create a group and you can do the messages. But this one, similar to messaging and everything, and also on top of that, you can create a document. Everybody can work on the document. The system will maintain the versioning and everything. And it can fetch the information from the Salesforce and display. Like let's say I want a report from Salesforce to display it in the document. I am preparing like a sales pitch. So for that I need high level total top opportunities. Then you can easily get the top opportunity from Salesforce.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the features: document and spreadsheets, group chat, one-on-one messages, desktop, tablet, and mobile access, customer advanced live app, SSO, single sign-on, enterprise APIs, customization, integrations. Yeah, there are a lot. It will be look like this. I do have one actually. So
this is not free, right?
now it's not free.
$10.
Previously it's a free.
Mm-hmm.
Now like they made it as a payment because during the COVID, like I remember that, like I'm not sure like which team I explained. I asked them to sign up. Sign up now, sign in. Where is sign in options? Yeah. Sign in, sign up. So sambat@lightful.com. Got it. So here, so it's look like we can create a folders, and inside the folder, like you can have like a different folders, and you can create like a documents, and you can share it with the teams. So many.
Okay.
It's basically kind of a collaboration tool where like you can see how many people are online and you can chat with them. Like yeah.
Great.
Okay. So then similar way, survey. You can use the Salesforce to build a survey. We didn't discuss that. Again, it's a separate topic, I would say. So if I go for a survey, you have to enable it. Then you need to have a community. You need to have one of the community. Then survey owner can manage the responses. Yes, I would say like they can manage. So as soon as you enable the survey, then you will get a one more object called a survey over here. This is a separate topic again. If you take like, yeah, it will go. So you'll see here, customer satisfactions. There is a one survey, default survey. Now, if I open that, you can design a nice survey screen. So page 1, page 2, you can add like a multiple pages. So let's say like if I preview it, this is a public page. And they can finish. You can have like this, like a multiple pages. And based on some conditions, like based on the first question's response, you can display another questions, or you can redirect into different place. There are a lot of things you can build it. This is again survey builder. So from the survey builder, you can build it. So create a new versions. I will show you. So here, page 1, this is one. Page 2, you can add it. And what questions you want to add? Date, like or dislike, long text area. These are the default values. See, we used flow to create a feedback form, right?
Yes.
But the similar way, you can use survey also. But the problem is that in survey, it's a paid license cost. You have to have a license. So up to 500 responses free. Beyond 500 responses, you have to have a license. The only thing, it will give you a nice branding. You can customize like a nice branding, the background color and everything. And also like each questions, there will be like a logic. Do you want to display this page, or it has to go to the page 2 based on what condition satisfactions? So first page, if they answer all the questions, go to the second page. Or they forgot to answer any of the questions, you can redirect to a different page. You can do a lot of logic here. Okay, so again, whenever like if you guys want to have like a more analysis on the survey, there are trialed modules. So how to create a survey, how to publish a survey, you can go through that.
Okay.
So that survey can be called using process builder or flows. We can invoke the survey from process builder and the flow, but not workflow and approval process. Okay. So any question on the comparisons?
No. Yeah, no questions from my side. Yeah.
I'm good too.
I think still Steeny is not joined. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. Order of executions. This is very, very important. Even if you are a developer or administrator, you need to know what order the Salesforce will fire. Like basically the record what order will execute. Okay. So this is the latest one. So after like a flow got introduced, from the flow, like we have a trigger, latestly they got introduced. So after that, like this document get updated. So insert, update, upset operation. Whenever if you do any of these operations, how the order will work. So let's say like you are start creating a new customers. Okay. For example, you are creating a new customers. So what's happening? It will load the existing values. Basically, it will load like any predefined status. If is read up to open is default means it will load the value. Here also it will load all the countries. Here also it will load the dependents, right? So load original records. If there are any values, it will load the original records. Then after entering it, and you are trying to save button, right? Now what will happen? It will go and override this value, right? So previously it was empty. Now you entered something. This field is empty. You entered something. So on click on the save button, it will override the new record field values. Is it clear?
Okay.
Then flow before save update will fire. In the flow, if you have any flow on this object, in this object, you have flow and the flow is configured on before save. Let me. We have a 1 more minute. The meeting going to be end. Here, a record is created, or record is updated, or record is created or updated. Yeah, and before the record is saved. If we select these options in that particular object, so the customer objects, okay. So on the customer object, if you create a flow with before the record is saved means that flow will fire. That is the TAD actions, the flow will fire. Then before trigger. So before trigger is basically